Welcome back to our channel, fellow Fairmont Crest addicts. Today is a beautifully dramatic day to dive back into the chaotic, tangled webs of our favorite families. Grab a massive cup of coffee, settle into your comfiest chair, and let's talk about the wild emotional shifts we are witnessing. There is so much bubbling just beneath the surface right now, and I have a feeling we are on the precipice of some earth-shattering revelations. Let's get right into it. I can't help but feel like we need to start by looking closely at Danny and Andre because something about this doesn't sit right with me. On the surface, they are trying so incredibly hard to heal their fractured marriage. They are literally sitting together with adult coloring books and wine, which is almost tragically domestic and fragile. Andre is laying his soul bare, asking for forgiveness for his past drinking and the mistakes he has made, suggesting they just find a way to leave the painful past behind them. But guys, we know the absolute truth of what is happening in Danny's head. While Andre is trying to color inside the lines of their broken relationship, Danny's mind is completely consumed by Bill Hamilton. She is secretly harboring these intense, burning thoughts about her elevator hookup with him, and it seems that she is just putting on a masterful performance for her husband. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but what if Danny is only leaning into this quiet coloring book reconciliation because she is utterly terrified of what Bill might do next? Bill is sitting in his hospital bed, flirting with disaster and putting both of their marriages on the line. I keep coming back to this idea that Danny's guilt isn't just about the physical affair. It is about the terrifying realization that she might not actually want to save her marriage to Andre at all. The truth might be more complicated than it looks. And when Andre inevitably finds out about Bill, that innocent coloring book is going to go up in flames, taking their entire lives with it. And speaking of Bill Hamilton, the situation over at Garland Memorial is turning into an absolute powder keg of legal and personal drama. Dr. Monica McCormick is now officially investigating that highly inappropriate, alarm-triggering incident between Bill and Haley in the hospital bed. And why is the chief of staff getting involved? Because lawyers are suddenly making calls. I might be wrong, but this screams that Haley is trying to spin a victim narrative, or perhaps the hospital administration is terrified of a massive liability lawsuit because security had to physically remove Haley from the premises. But what really catches my attention in this entire hospital mess is Naomi Hawthorne's reaction. Naomi is stepping right into the line of fire, defending nurses Shanice and Ashley, and taking it upon herself to go directly to Vernon to make this whole Bill and Haley issue go away quietly. There's a chance that Naomi is just trying to protect the hospital's reputation and her colleagues, but what if she is actually trying to protect Danny? Naomi is smart. She knows that if Vernon gets too deeply involved in investigating Bill's reckless behavior, he is going to dig into why Bill is acting so invincible, and that trail leads straight back to Danny and the tornado elevator incident. Vernon Dupree is already on high alert, isn't he? We see him trying to assert his patriarchal dominance all over Fairmont Crest right now. He even tried to corner Doctor Kial Rollins for a very serious, probably intimidating talk about his exclusive relationship with Nicole. Vernon clearly recognizes that Kial is getting incredibly serious about his daughter, and Vernon wants to lay down the law. Thankfully, Nicole intercepted him immediately, making it crystal clear that she does not want her father pressuring or interrogating her boyfriend. I can't help but feel like Vernon is desperate to maintain control over his family because everything else in town feels so chaotic and dangerous. Yet at the exact same time, he is completely lost in his own romantic world with Anita. They are sharing these deeply private, intimate moments at the Dupree mansion, even going so far as to suggest they completely ignore Nicole's phone calls just to protect their alone time. It is genuinely beautiful to see Anita so loved and supported, especially after her grueling breast cancer battle, but something about this doesn't sit right with me. In a place like Fairmont Crest, whenever a power couple gets this happy and starts ignoring the outside world, disaster is usually picking the lock on their front door. Meanwhile, Nicole and Kial are genuinely moving into a new, beautiful, and highly intimate phase of their relationship. Nicole stepping up to host a private open mic night at her own house after the official one was canceled is such a massive green flag for their future. She is fully embracing Kial's world and his family, and Kial is clearly getting more and more serious about her by the day. And let's take a moment to talk about Noah. The kid was an absolute bundle of nerves before the show, but he completely crushed that performance. Kiel noticed this incredible, undeniable surge of energy and passion in his son afterward. Noah is practically glowing with a new lease on life, but it is not just the music that has Noah vibrating at a higher frequency. It is Deanna McBride. Deanna is completely, utterly smitten with Noah. Vanessa even made a very poignant observation, noting that she hasn't seen Deanna this radiantly happy since her very first love. But guys, I keep coming back to this idea that Deanna is living a highly dangerous double life. On one hand, she is this starry eyed girl falling deeply for a talented musician. But on the other hand, she is waging a dark psychological warfare against Joey Armstrong, guided by the vengeful ghost or memory of her dead father, Doug. What happens when Noah, who seems so pure and eager for a fresh start, discovers that his new girlfriend is knee deep in a toxic revenge plot against a ruthless casino boss? There's a chance that Noah is going to get caught in the crossfire of the McBride family drama, and it could destroy his newfound confidence. And Noah is getting pulled even deeper into the Fairmont Crest elite circles, too. Anita Dupree actually stepped up and offered to mentor him. She suggested he sit in on her vocal sessions, drawing on her old articulate's nostalgia and recognizing his raw talent. It seems that Noah is finding a surrogate family and a real support system here, but I worry about the dark secrets surrounding the people he is getting close to. Speaking of family, legacy, and dark secrets, let's pivot to Joey Armstrong and Isaiah Hawthorne. This dynamic is absolutely fascinating and incredibly layered. Joey is looking at Isaiah and seeing a legacy, a reflection of the one genuinely good thing he feels he has done in his entire life, saving this kid from the criminal underworld of the streets. Isaiah is leaning into this bond too. He was literally just reminding Eva about how Joey saved his life in the past, which adds so much emotional depth to Joey's connection with the Hawthorne family. Joey desperately wants to be this mentor figure, this reformed man who has a surrogate son to guide toward a better life. But maybe I'm overthinking this. But how can Joey build a positive legacy when his own estranged sister, Heather, who we now know is the terrifying international crime boss, the Impaler, is actively infiltrating the town and threatening everything he holds dear? Joey is trying to build a peaceful future while his violent past is literally stalking the streets of Fairmont Crest. And Isaiah is doing his absolute best to be a solid rock for Eva right now. Eva is struggling so much with her trauma and her deep insecurities regarding her surgical scars, but Isaiah is remaining incredibly patient, supportive, and understanding. However, Eva's sharp edges and blunt honesty are definitely showing when it comes to her mother, Leslie Thomas. Leslie and Marcel are getting closer, and Marcel actually took a huge leap and asked Leslie to move onto his boat with him. Leslie turned him down flat, claiming she just isn't boat people and that the lifestyle doesn't suit her. Eva immediately called her out on this, pointing out that Leslie just tossed aside a genuinely good, uncomplicated romantic opportunity. I can't help but feel like Eva is absolutely right on the money here. Eva accused Leslie of shutting down her options because she is still secretly holding out hope for Ted Richardson. The truth might be more complicated than it looks, but Leslie's obsession with the past and her former status is ruining her present happiness. Marcel is offering her a real life, and she is rejecting it because she is still addicted to the drama of the Dupree and Richardson orbit. Because let's face the harsh reality, Ted is completely gone. Ted is head over heels in love with Shanice Johnson. He is showing up at the hospital, bringing her chocolates, and he is actively pushing to meet her brothers. That is a massive, serious step in any relationship. Shanice is clearly a bit anxious about integrating him into her family, but she recounted this to her aunt Monica, and Monica was actually incredibly impressed by Ted's dedication. Ted is building a solid, healthy, forward-looking future with Shanice, which makes Leslie's lingering hopes even more tragic and pathetic. I might be wrong, but I feel a massive, ugly confrontation coming between Leslie and Shanice once Leslie finally realizes that Ted is truly permanently off the market and moving on with his life. Finally, we have to talk about Jacob Hawthorne. Jacob is a man standing on the absolute edge of a cliff. He is utterly obsessed with catching the impaler. He is telling Grayson that he absolutely will not rest, will not stop pushing until this criminal mastermind is brought to justice. And yes, Grayson is being a fantastic friend, helping Jacob set up this beautiful surprise Mexico-themed night for Naomi, while Marcel is just hanging around the police station, teasing Jacob about caring too much about his clothes and not enough about the case. But something about this doesn't sit right with me. Jacob is trying to balance being a loving, present husband for Naomi, especially after the trauma of her BRCA diagnosis, with this dark, all-consuming obsession with his undercover police work. I keep coming back to this idea that you cannot hunt a monster like the Impaler without letting some of that darkness seep into your own home. Jacob thinks he can compartmentalize his life, but what if the Impaler decides to target Naomi just to send Jacob a message? We already know Heather is stalking Andre and Danny. What is to stop her from going after the Hawthorns to protect her plasma ring? All of these relationships in Fairmont Crest are shifting into intense new phases. Kial and Nicole are stepping up to the plate. Noah and Deanna are falling hard and fast. Marcel and Leslie are standing at a critical crossroads, and Danny and Andre are desperately trying to glue their shattered mirror back together with coloring books and wine. But with the Impaler lurking in the shadows, Bill Hamilton refusing to let go of his toxic obsessions and secrets hiding behind every single closed door, I can't help but feel like this current wave of romance and healing is just the calm before a truly devastating storm. The pieces are moving on the board, and someone is about to get played. What do you guys think? Are Danny and Andre actually going to make it? Or is Bill going to blow their entire world up? Let me know your theories, because my mind is spinning with the endless, terrifying possibilities.